This short informational video will give you a quick summary of our report focusing on the barriers to higher education for asylum seekers and refugees within Leeds. We are a group of 6 master's students researching this topic since the start of the year. As we are coming to the end of our research project, we have found that there are 6 main barriers that we want to address. As part of our project, in the coming weeks we're going to put up some QR codes around the Leeds University campus, each with a detailed but brief synopsis of each barrier. As a start, in this film we are going to give a quick summary of each one. The first barrier we are aiming to address is the informational barrier faced by many refugee background students, which is best defined as a lack of timely, accessible and accurate information. For many who are new or unfamiliar to the UK and Leeds specifically, it could be unclear on how to obtain information on what domestic students may find simple. So, as you can imagine, finding information on higher education, a complex process for domestic students, can be incredibly difficult. Third sector organisations which can offer information to refugees and asylum seekers can struggle to provide relevant and accurate information. Some charities decide to focus on the primary needs of refugees and asylum seekers due to a lack of funding. Therefore, they do not have the capacity to provide help on higher education.
Another set of major institutional obstacles faced by asylum seekers and refugees when trying to apply for higher education are the series of procedural barriers that get in their way. Higher education institutions have very specific language qualifications they need to achieve, such as the IELTS, which is expensive. They're expected to go through long and complicated UCAS forms, find referees for their application, and go through lots of online documents and form filling before they can apply fully for university. Both on a national level and in university-specific cases, there is knowledge that is required that often these asylum seekers and refugees do not possess. These procedural steps make it complicated and difficult for refugees to find the information that they need to get into higher education.
So, one of the predominant barriers faced by asylum seekers and refugees throughout the process of accessing higher education in Leeds and the rest of the UK is finance. So although refugees are eligible for student finance in order to assist with the cost of tuition, as they're considered home students, asylum seekers are considered international students and therefore are met with much higher tuition fees with little to no additional support. The University of Sanctuary movement within the UK has helped to begin addressing this, with Sanctuary scholarships available at many higher education institutions. However, currently these are not available at all higher education institutions in Leeds, and where they are offered, there are minimal available.
For a newcomer who is from another country who just suffered from pains, some of them could never see their families again. In the totally different environment, the unfamiliar language, or even the strange oven. Imagine you are a refugee. When you lose all your hope to go back home, you may well suffer the discrimination being an alien, being a job taker. Some of refugees even could not land a job or just do some illegal part-time work.
Once arriving in Britain, environmental factors act as a barrier to refugees and asylum seekers who may want to access university. In 2012, the UK government announced their plan to create a really hostile environment in an attempt to discourage people from staying in the country and force people to deport themselves. This is the case for asylum seekers who are not entitled to housing, healthcare, work, social security or higher education, and are more likely to live in poverty and be destitute. Asylum seekers are expected to live on £539 a day, are unable to work and have to pay full tuition fees with no support.
The educational qualification for newcomers may differ and may not be recognized by the local university in Leeds. The easiest way for them to look for information for enrollment would be browsing through the website of the university to find out if their educational qualification is acceptable by the university. Only the website of University of Leeds provides such information, while the other 4 universities do not.